Welcome to our first video or presentation about athletic training and education. In this presentation, I'm just going to go over some structure requirements for athletic training. So the question, my big question from our syllabus is, what are the structures and the requirements of athletic training professional education programs? So for this lecture, I'm going to talk about if you're a program director for an athletic training professional program, what's the requirement for doing some of these things. Some of you may or may not ever be involved in anything like this, but I think it's helpful to understand where if you end up being a preceptor for an athletic training program, you understand what the director and the clinical coordinator are up against. So the purposes of our professional education, I took this from a document that was written in 2013. It was called the White Paper, and this was the document, and I've shared this in our class, that caused us to move our professional education from the undergraduate level only, or undergraduate to or master's level as an entry level program, to master's level program only. So the purposes of professional education is concerned with the preparation of the student who is in the process of becoming an athletic trainer and represents the gateway to the profession. So the reason why I liked this quote from this paper is that what's the purpose of professional education is it's to prepare someone to become an athletic trainer. We used to use the term quite a bit, entry level program. It's just the beginning of the education. It's to open the door to become an athletic trainer, and open the door to become a professional in athletic training. Some of the gaps that I see in our profession, where I look at other professions and nursing, a nurse finishes his or her nursing degree, takes their board exam, becomes a registered nurse in that state, and then they typically go work at a hospital, and the hospital doesn't allow them to just start working on patients on their own. They are trained in the different things that particular hospital has on their different procedures, blah, 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 all the things you got to know to take care of a patient. We don't do a very good job with that in our profession at all. We assume once you finish your professional program, you know everything, and here, go take care of the athlete. Well, that's not the best method, because the professional program, you're just learning the basics of being an athletic trainer. It takes a long time, and we're always learning. So I'm using some terms here: professional program and post-professional programs. All of us have completed a professional program. The professional program is the entry-level program that makes you eligible to sit for the BOC exam. So we've all been in that program. You are currently in a post-professional program. As it sounds, it's after your professional program. It's for the advanced knowledge and continuing education in our area of athletic training. So I'll talk a little bit more about post-professional in this lecture. So CAATE, the Commission on the Accreditation of Athletic Training Education, I don't know if this will, no, it didn't take me. I was going to see if it was going to take me to the website, but it won't. If you go to that website link on your own, it will take you to CAATE's website, and you can actually search for programs, professional programs, post-professional programs. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about post-professional programs in just a bit. So the purpose of CAATE is, number one, they do the accreditation for professional programs. What that means is that they make sure that all professional programs have the same quality and maintain and assure that quality for those professional programs, and that all the universities and colleges that have now it's going to be master's programs or professional programs meet the minimum standards for accreditation. They don't just look at the athletic training program, they look at the university as a whole. Are the faculty, is there enough faculty? Is there enough lab space or enough equipment? Are the faculty treated the same in the AT program as they are in other programs? Is there consistency not only in AT education but all throughout the university? So it's a pretty involved process for a university or a college to go through the accreditation. And so I've provided you all the documents and resources that you can find on CAATE's website and also on the NATA's website or on the BOC website. I've provided this in our in the class, so you can. Some of these you're going to have to download for the AT assignment, the signature assignment. That's the first one, the Athletic Training, Education, and Competencies. That's the 5th edition. Those are changing. I don't think that's been released as the date I'm recording this. So future classes will be using the more updated competencies. I've also provided the CAATE standards, the 2012 standards, and the 2020 standards for starting in 2020. These are the standards that all professional programs that have master's degree will need to follow. I also have the standards for post-professional athletic training programs. Now, there's one program that still has this post-professional accreditation. You can find that on CAATE's website as the day I'm recording this. There's a move, with master's degree becoming the professional degree. There are now doctorate of athletic training programs, but those post-professional standards were typically for a master's degree, and they haven't been rewritten for doctorate level programs yet. I know that's in the process of doing that, but CAATE's got to do that, and they haven't done that yet. So again, most of the other the programs that had CAATE accreditation, a lot of them have pulled their accreditation because they're not going to continue on at the masters at the post-professional. They're going to do the professional program at masters. So we didn't do the post-professional accreditation back in the day when it was a little more vogue to do this, because we didn't have the resources that is required by these standards. Doesn't mean your degree is any more or less important, different than anybody else who has got a post-professional accredited program at the master's level. It's just, what that means is that university has more availability with faculty and research components than FPU does. I've also provided the practice analysis document there. That is what we do for a job. So you can look at that, see if that's what you actually do for your job. They do these, they used to call them role delineation studies every couple years to see what we're doing out in the field, and that informs what we're going to do in our education. So with the competencies, the AT education competencies, that then informs what we do and the accreditation standards for CAATE. So all those type of things. So these are the documents that program directors, faculty use to design the curriculum in their programs. We're going to be using mostly the Athletic Training Educational Competencies, the 5th edition, because this is a teaching class. I want to be clear on some terminology. Again, professional education is the program that you take to become eligible to be a certified athletic trainer. So we've all completed that, as I said earlier. Athletic trainer is the term that we should use. We should not use ATC as a noun. We're not an ATC. We're an athletic trainer. Our certified athletic trainer is a title. So ATC should only be like after our name. We shouldn't use it, I'm an ATC. No, you're not. You're an athletic trainer. So you can look on an ATA and a BOC website for some of this distinction. Back in the day, we used to call students student athletic trainers. We're really trying to use the term athletic training student. And if you use the term student athletic trainer in your papers, I will correct you on the terminology. It's athletic training student. The other term that it's not as used as much now, it's approved clinical instructor or clinical instructor. We want to use the term preceptor. These are the staff athletic trainers that are helping you learn the material, or they did, hopefully they were good preceptors, so we try to use that terminology instead of approved clinical instructor or clinical instructor. And if you want to learn more about all that stuff, you'll see in all the documents that I provided, they talk about the qualifications for a person to be a preceptor. I like to use the term patients because that's what the NATA wants us to call the people that we provide care for. They're patients. They're not student athletes. They're not athletes. They're our patients because we're healthcare providers. And so let's try changing our mindset that the people that we provide care for are our patients. It's like when we go see a doctor, we are his or her patient. So let's do the same thing with the people that we are providing care for. There's another term that I should put up there. We used to use the term athletic training education program. We want to use the term now athletic training program. Get rid of the term education, ATP. And our last slide here is Educator's Help. Some good places on the website there, on the BOC website and the TA's website. And a really good journal is Athletic Training Education Journal. That journal is specifically for education issues. Really good articles to use in this class. We're going to be talking about some things in education. The BOC has some good stuff about how to write exam questions and some other good resources for educators. And the NATA also has some good links about education and how we should create our courses. Again, this is just the first presentation in several presentations about athletic training education. And this one was just about the structure, the documents that we need to run an athletic training education program.